If you type "how to be" into Google, then the autocomplete function will suggest that you search for how to be happy. It seems that almost everyone wants to make themselves happier, but that nobody actually knows how to do it. Well, my first thought on this is that once your basic needs are taken care of, things like food, water, warmth, and a safe and secure Wi-Fi connection, then happiness is to a great extent a choice. What's going on outside doesn't actually matter that much. You can choose to make yourself a lot happier or a lot more miserable simply by changing what you think about. As long as you're not bearing the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, like being a peace-loving speechwriter in Donald Trump's administration, then it's not really who you are or where you are, or even to some extent what you're doing that ultimately determines your happiness, but rather it's how you choose to react to your situation. That being said, I do think that how you spend your time also plays a significant role. So here's a simple tool that you can use to analyse how you spend your days and think about what effect that has on your mental state. This is adapted from Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar's hamburger model, and the basic idea is that everything you do will bring you some kind of short-term benefit or short-term detriment. It will affect how you feel now. But everything you do now will also affect how you will feel in the future. It will also bring you some kind of long-term benefit or long-term detriment. This gives us 4 basic archetypes. The experience of present benefit but at the cost of some future detriment defines the hedonism archetype. Hedonists just want to seek pleasure now and not really think about the potential pain that it might cause in the future. Think of characters like Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street, or Mark Renton from Trainspotting, or even Charlie Sheen from his actual life. Conversely, we've got the rat racer. The rat racer suffers now for some anticipated gain in the future. Think of your classic cubicle drone who slaves 80 hours a week over a spreadsheet that they couldn't care less about just for the chance at a promotion. That's your rat racer. Then you've got those who neither live for the present moment nor have any sense of future purpose, and this defines our nihilism quadrant. But these don't exhaust all of the possibilities. What about a window that brings both future and present happiness? Well, this defines our happiness archetype. Now, I'm not saying that we simply reside in one of these quadrants and stay there forever. No, of course not. We all visit each of the 4 quadrants at different times, but we can and do transition between them. The thing that most people don't realise is we can choose when to transition between them. For example, we'll all sometimes be subject to a wee Netflix binge, or maybe eating at McDonald's, or maybe you seek temporary pleasure in other ways, I don't know. But the point is that in moderation, that's a good thing. Similarly, we all visit the rat racer quadrant at some point as well, whether that's just refusing dessert while you're out for a meal, or even studying relentlessly for an exam and kind of shutting off everything else in your life. Sometimes a little bit of present sacrifice is a good thing if it brings a lot of future benefit. And unfortunately, we all have to visit the nihilism quadrant at some point in our lives. That's just part and parcel of being human. But luckily, we all get to visit the happiness quadrant at some point as well. Whether that's eating tasty food that's actually good for you, or hopefully getting stuck into some project at work that you actually care about and it will help advance your professional career. The worrying thing is that most people seem to only oscillate between these 3 quadrants here. This is what turns us into stressed out, cortisol producing zombies. But to live a happier life, we need to find ways to spend more time in these 2 on the right. The reason I say these 2 and not just the happiness quadrant alone is that if you only lived in the happiness quadrant, I think life would become pretty boring after a while. If I were to meet you at some point, maybe in a few decades time, walking down the street, and I said, "What have you been up to with your life?" I imagine most of your highlights reel would probably be filled with things from the hedonism quadrant. So I encourage you to think of ways to live for both today and tomorrow at the same time. An easy way to take action on this is to start by making a list of things that you do or that you want to do that fit into either of these boxes here. It could be things as simple as playing football with your mates, learning how to play an instrument, or developing your underwater basket weaving skills, whatever it is, anything that makes you smile or that makes you better. Then just try to schedule a little bit of extra time for each of these activities in your day. But don't just say you will, actually write the amount of time down next to the activity and commit to it, put it in your diary. Once you've done that, Stick to it, and you can sit back and watch the aggregation of all these marginal changes sum up into making a massive difference towards your overall happiness. And if that doesn't work, there's always cat videos on YouTube.